questions at the LA presser. Defends Laura Loomer. Dude, I think Trump is definitely fucking Laura Loomer, by the way. I mean, he's not. I think he's ace. So I still believe that, but I think it's really funny to say he is. All right. We're gonna get to the Laura Loomer stuff in a second. Let's continue
ahead of
with
the
this.
debate had the candidates roughly tied. Now a new Reuters Ipsos poll has Harris leading Trump 47-42. The Harris campaign reporting they raised $47 million in the 24 hours after the debate, their biggest haul since the day she joined the race. That Reuters Ipsos poll also showing that 53% of voters who heard anything about the debate said Harris was the winner. Only 24% said the same about former President Trump. On the trail, Harris arguing the debate shows Trump is a man of the past without a plan for the future, signaling out the issue of health care. At the debate, Lindsey Davis asking him if he has an actual plan to replace the Affordable Care Act, known as Obamacare.
Obamacare was lousy health care, always was. It's not very good today. And what I said, that if we come up with something, and we are working on things, we're going to do it and we're going to replace it.
So just a yes or no, you still do not have a plan?
I have concepts of a plan.
That shit was so funny. It is very Simpsonian. It was very Homer. I have concepts of a plan.
I'm not.
So just a yes or no, you still do not have a plan?
I have concepts of a plan. I'm not president right now.
Harris.
I have concepts of a plan. I'm not president right now. When you're president, you start making plans. That's how it works. He used to do this shit all the time. It's pretty funny. He would do this all the time where he would go, I'm going to deal with Afghanistan. And then they'd be like, what are you going to do? He's like, I can't tell you because then the enemy will know. I can't tell you what I'm going to do. I don't want to let the enemy know. An actual child take? I know, but like, here's the problem. Here's the problem. What do you mean he used to do it? He literally did that last week with Lex. Yeah, he used to do it. He still does it. But he used to too, okay? That's my point. Like, he did this when he was running for president in 2016 and then successfully became president. He did this during his administration, and he never really stopped doing it. Now, the one thing you have to understand, yeah, Mitch Hedberg, shouts out. Rest in power, Mitch. So... What you have to understand is in this time frame, okay, over the course of the past 8 years, 9 years, I genuinely believe that the broader electorate and their demands have gotten dumber as well, both on the Democratic Party side and certainly on the Republican Party side. On the Republican Party side, I think that the electorate has gotten way more like insane, hysterical, and primed to believe like whatever kind of psychotic thing that Donald Trump says is real, especially if it corresponds to their personal biases that they already had. Like immigrants are bad. So like you can say anything about immigrants and they'll believe it and they'll just like advance that. They'll be like, no, it's definitely true. Right? No matter how insane. And I think COVID greatly accelerated this process as well. But beyond that, like the number of people that also aren't really looking for any fucking seriousness from either candidate has grown, I think. Or maybe they always were like this, and I'm just like more annoyed by it as years go by. You know? Because I feel like there is just no interest whatsoever. There is no interest whatsoever from the Republican base for Donald Trump to be like, here's what I'm going to do. Okay? praying you stop stuttering. I will never stop stuttering. It'll happen. It's the Brandonization of the HasanAbi broadcast, just like the Brandonization of Donald Trump. I think it's funny how the voters get dumber along with our elections, makes it aesthetic. Yeah. No, that is what's going on, though. That is what's going on. On the one hand, okay. Hold on one second. Are you going to get Trump affair with Loomer and Laura? Yeah, we're going to talk about that. He's piping. He's lit. He's piping that shit, dude. He's hitting that. That's right. He's hitting that. Sometimes you take asshole chatter's comments and try so well. I don't know how you do it, and don't always flip the fuck out. I'm in a good mood because I hit 320 for 3. So I'm in a fairly good mood right now.
It's now mocking that answer.
He said, concepts of a plan. Concepts. No actual plan, concepts.
Still, the Harris campaign maintains she is the underdog, launching a more aggressive phase to build off her debate momentum. Now, Kamala Harris will be back in must-win Pennsylvania. Today, Donald Trump is in Nevada and out in California, where he's supposed to be holding a press conference later this morning as the final sprint to Election Day now ramps up, George.
Also, Mary, the former president, been traveling the last few days with this woman, Laura Loomer, social media influencer.
Dude, I do love this. Look, I said it. As soon as I saw Laura Loomer as soon as I saw this demon on the motherfucking plane, I was like, how is the media not covering this? Remember, like, she is such a target-rich environment. It makes no sense for Donald Trump to be close to her. She is an insane person, okay? She is an insane person, which is hilarious because she has no base. She's an insane person with no constituency, okay? No constituency whatsoever. Didn't she call that one Senator gay Lindsey Graham? Yes. There is no reason for Laura Loomer. There is no reason for Laura Loomer to ever be anywhere near any campaign whatsoever.
Very much.
Unless there's a different reason for why she's there. Here is Laura Loomer saying, I just ate dog food. It's human grade, which means you and your dog can share a tasty, nutrient-dense treat together. Order yours today. Roger Stone said it's gross. That's how bad it is. Please stop showing her. My kids are in the room and they're sobbing, says the DUI champion. Friend of the show, Ken Benzinger, wrote about her for the Times. The former activist's decision to elevate Laura Loomer, a far-right activist known for racist and homophobic posts online, has stunned even some Trump allies. Yeah, it makes no sense. Like, it's one of those things where it's like, who is this for? Who is this for, really? Like, who are you? Who did you make this decision for? Because I am once again saying I do not support all women. Some of them are uggo. It's for me, I think. It could be for me, because I think it's funny that he's doing it. But like what is the political calculation to having someone like Laura Loomer by your side, because now you have to inevitably defend her, which is weird. Because you already have this issue with JD Vance, and she is somehow objectively worse than JD Vance. Like, she literally is both uglier than JD Vance, like hard to look at. Okay, JD Vance also looks kind of weird and creepy and gross, but like she has no benefit. Like there's no added value to the campaign to bring Laura Loomer around. There's got to be something. There's got to be something. She's horrifying to look at. She literally has tried to fuck Nazis. She herself has had a lot of groiped up far right Nazi takes. Tell Andrew I'm going to ban him. You know those two are making the humidity on the Trump Force One rise to 70% pure stank. He's going to give her a little leather football baby that comes out already with fillers and Botox bloat. HasanAbi to distract us with her good looks and rockin' body. Yowza. Humana. Oh, baby. Like, Trump is already not doing great, okay? He was smooth cruising when he was going up against Biden. And then, obviously, the race changed. And it was already a difficult one for him to win from this point on. But then he just, like, keeps adding, it seems, new game plus difficulty for no reason. He's just like, nope, I'm going to make this as difficult as possible for me. I don't care. I will win again, but this time even harder. Also, is that Van Cleef, chat? Is Jason the Ween hanging out with Laura Loomer? Every time I see Van Cleef now, I'm assuming that Jason the Ween has been there. Yam Queef? Has Jason the Ween... This is like a Baby Gronk was rizzing up the... Baby Gronk was fighting the Rizzler to rizz up the Livy Dunn. Has Jason the Ween of FaZe Clan actually been hanging out with Laura Loomer? Jason the Ween of FaZe Clan is known for giving everybody Van Cleef bracelets that a lot of people are saying he got from Temu. And many people are wondering, since Laura Loomer, the alt-right neo-Nazi, has been hanging out with Donald Trump a lot, and she's been prominently featuring Van Cleef bracelets and Van Cleef necklaces, which has led a lot of people on TikTok to speculate that Baby Gronk and Jason the Ween have probably been hanging out with Laura Loomer. I just alienated 98% of people over the age of 30 in the audience right now that have absolutely zero fucking idea what I'm talking about. It's one of those jokes that's like funny for 8 total people in this chat that actually watched me collaborate with fucking Jason the Ween. Bro, you just made me realize I'm turning 30 in 2 months. I appreciate it. Yeah. What the fuck is a Jason Ween?
Influencer, very controversial for racist comments about Kamala Harris, suggesting in the past that 9/11 was an inside job, and that's drawing fire even from...
Why is that the only thing that you guys talk about? That's like a defensible position, dude. Holy shit. She has done way worse shit. She is banned from virtually every application, like not just social media in the past. Like when she was banned from Twitter, she literally chained herself to the door of Twitter headquarters, okay? She started an ISIS club in college because she thought liberals would join it. I don't know if that's real or not, but I'm going to go on with it anyway because it's funny. But the Twitter thing is real. She got banned from every application. Uber, Lyft, every single one because of her fucking relentless Islamophobia. There are so many things. I don't believe that Twitter-ish. Okay, here. She got banned from like Uber Eats and shit, bro. She is like just look at her goddamn, look at her background. Laura Elizabeth Loomer, born May 21st, 1993, is an American far-right political activist, internet personality, conspiracy theorist. She was the Republican nominee to represent Florida's 21st congressional district in 2020 House of Representatives primary. She also ran to the Republican primary in Florida's 11th congressional district, losing to incumbent Daniel Webster. She has described herself as pro-white nationalism and a proud Islamophobe. Loomer has worked as an activist for several organizations, including Project Veritas, the Geller Report, which is Pamela Geller, who is a fucking far-right terrorist herself. I think her daughters were like memers on Instagram and they got canceled too because her mom is like a fucking rabid Islamophobe. She worked for Rebel News and InfoWars. Loomer gained notoriety as a result of being banned from numerous social media platforms, including Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, payment processors, vehicles for hire, and food delivery mobile apps. Bro, she doesn't even have the weather app on her phone, okay? She turns on her phone, it's a brick. She got banned from the weather app. How do you even do that? Anyway, I'm joking about the weather app thing. All right. For various reasons, including violating policies on hate speech and posting misinformation, Loomer has also been banned and removed from events and had her press credentials revoked for harassment and causing disturbances. In April 2023, it was reported that Donald Trump wanted to hire Loomer for a campaign role. However, the idea was said to have been met with heavy resistance from Trump's team, as well as warnings from Marjorie Taylor Greene over hiring a documented liar. Since 2023, Loomer has written and posted false claims about the Israel-Hamas war. Loomer and her two brothers were raised in Arizona. Yada yada, doesn't matter. Here it is. Between 2015 and 2017, okay, Loomer used a concealed video camera to record a conversation with Barry University officials discussing the idea of starting a club called Sympathetic Students in support of the Islamic State of Iraq and Syria. The school apparently asked only that the club's name be changed to Students in Support of the Middle East. James O'Keefe of Project Veritas, a right-wing organization known for producing secretly recorded and deceptively edited undercover audio and video investigations about media organizations and left-leaning groups, released a video to Encounter alleging that it captured a university official unfazed by the idea of an on-campus organization to support ISIS. Shortly thereafter, the university suspended Loomer for violating the student code of conduct, and a professor shown in the video filed criminal charges against her for recording him without his knowledge. At the time, Loomer was an honor student in her senior year and the president of Barry University's Young Republicans Club. According to a Hillary campaign official, Loomer and two other women posing as Clinton supporters attempted to entrap campaign workers into accepting illegal cash donations. In July 2015, the official said the campaign had complied with the law. These guys are some of the most insane freaks out there, okay? Remember James O'Keefe? That fucking freak who used to run Project Veritas? But obviously people that were donating to Project Veritas were like, what the fuck are you doing, when they found out that he was embezzling funds to fly Project Veritas members to go and watch him do Oklahoma, the Broadway musical? Like, he is such a fucking musical fan, just like Donald Trump, by the way, that he was like, yeah, I'm gonna take all this money that you guys gave me and I'm going to make everybody fly out and watch me do Oklahoma. So they fired him. Wait, Donald Trump loves musicals? What do you know about that? Wait, you didn't know that Donald Trump is a musical head? Are you kidding me? How the fuck do you guys not know this? Have you guys never heard Donald Trump talk about like Phantom of the Opera? Why do you guys think I always say he's my zesty king? Like he fucking loves musicals, bro. Are you kidding me? Donald Trump, Phantom of the Opera. The only time when you see a spark in his eye is when he's talking about
this beautiful letter I get from Andrew Lloyd Webber, who was big before Phantom, but nothing like Phantom. And he did Jesus Christ Superstar, which was another great one. He did a lot of great things. But he said, because he lived in the building at Trump Tower, he knew me a little bit. And he said, I'd love to have you as my guest. I'm opening up a musical called The Phantom of the Opera. And I said, oh, so let's go. So I say on the letter, okay, I'll go. And anyway, we went. And it opens with the chandelier and this. You've been there, right?
Yes,
You've
yes,
seen it.
yes.
Do you agree? It's like,
first time I saw it shocks you when the chandelier drops.
No, but
You guys didn't know this? I mean, this is like, sometimes I forget that there's people in here that just like are unfamiliar with like all of my commentary, but this is a classic, dude. Donald Trump is a very, very zesty man, okay? Very zesty man. Also, he's literally like, I think he also tried to produce a Broadway musical and it failed and it like altered the trajectory of his life dramatically. Donald Trump's one-show career as a Broadway producer, If Paris Is Out, had been a smash, we might be living in a different. If Paris Is Out had been a smash, we might be living in a different America. I've watched you for years. I swear to God, you've never talked about this. No, I've definitely talked about Donald Trump loving the arts. Bro, he blew a kiss at Hulk Hogan. Like, what are you talking about? He
do this thing. I mean, you know, I think Broadway, you still have to, it's brutal. It's brutal. I mean, if you had a Broadway theater right now, it just is just after.
Well, plus the city. What's happened to the city?
Plus what's happened to the city.
Look, it just closed after, what, 40 years? This letter is from inviting you to opening night. The reason I want to start with that, it just closed last week.
Yeah, no, it did. It did. It was very sad.
Because of what's happened to the city.
I think I know why it closed beyond that, but I think it's, you know, you got to have a lot of things going right, and they get so politically correct. But it did close, and I would think it's very hard to open on Broadway, have anything on Broadway. But Phantom was one of the greatest of all. So I go in and I see this music. I said, this thing is unbelievable. It didn't take long because the music is so good. By the time we had intermission, it was like, I said, this thing is incredible. And by the end, you know, with the whole thing, with the gondolas and the candles and the whole thing coming out and the great music, and we play a lot of that music. I mean,
Dude. This one I didn't know either. Shouts out to the chatter who brought this up. Trump calls Ocasio-Cortez Evita in new book, American Carnage. President interviewed for book on Republican Civil War. Comparison to Eva Peron indicates respect for Democrat. Donald Trump has compared Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez to Eva Peron, saying that though he first saw the New York congressman ranting and raving like a lunatic on a street corner and thinks she knows nothing, she has a certain talent. That's Evita, he said. On Sunday, Ocasio-Cortez seemed to welcome the comparison. I know that, like every woman of the people, I have more strength than I appear to have, Evita Peron. He is legitimately, yeah. Oh, Trump had cats in Phantom of the Opera played to soothe him, a new book claims. Trump has long loved Andrew Lloyd Webber. His staff members used that to their advantage. Many of you will also remember he had a penchant for drag as well. Here is Donald Trump participating. He's not in drag, but Rudy Giuliani is.
You know, you're really beautiful. And a woman that looks like that
has to have her own special scent.
Oh, thank you. Maybe you could tell me what you think of this scent.
I like that.
This may be the best of all. Oh, you dirty boy, you. Oh. Donald, I thought you were a gentleman.
You can't say I didn't try.
Like what, do we forget all this stuff? Like, what's going on? I feel like a lot of people just like memory hold this shit, which this one makes sense to memory hold because it's so bad. Like, that one is like, it gives you psychic damage when you watch it. I said, man's a rapist even in his commercials. True. Anyway, Ruby Giuliani, not Rudy. Anyway, so yeah, he loves fucking Broadway, dude. Trump has not previously made the comparison, but he did write a 2004 book that his favorite Broadway show is Evita by Andrew Lloyd Webber, starring Patti LuPone. I saw it 6 times, mostly with Ivana. He likes Elton John too. Remember how Elton John was like, oh yeah, I heard he likes me, or he's like, Elton John was like being canceled by people, which is so funny. You can't cancel Elton John, you're out of your mind. But like, people were upset at Elton John for not immediately dismissing Donald Trump saying he likes him a lot. And he loves the Village People too. This is a zesty man.
I go to places when we want background music. That's beautiful. It's great. Everybody likes it. But you go there and it's opening night for one of the most successful musicals ever. I would say maybe the most, but certainly one of the most. And it was sort of cool to see a letter where I'm opening a show on Broadway.
A show on Broadway. Remember musicals, folks? Chinese coronavirus took that away from us. We used to listen to musicals, but we no longer can listen. We can't even watch. This is why I say Trump is ace biromantic, okay? He is a biromantic asexual man, okay? That's why he says he likes to kiss the boys and the girls. I'll kiss the boys too. Honestly, it's kind of sad this pathetic man can't enjoy the things he likes publicly because of the culture he fosters. No, fuck no. He don't give a shit. What are you talking about? He's talking to Steve Bannon about how much he loves Andrew Lloyd Webber. No, he doesn't care at all. He openly does say he likes those things. The funniest part about it is that's why when he has this like cult like following, he goes up on his rallies and he talks about fucking that sissy Graydon Carter. Okay? Ain't nobody in fucking Michigan gives a shit about Graydon Carter. Are you insane? They just go along with it. They're like, hell yeah, sir. I think Graydon Carter is a sissy. Vanity Fair parties have really been lackluster in the last couple of years. I know. You're right, sir. I hate Graydon Carter. New York Fashion Week is falling off, brother. Yeah, I'm a Alabama Republican lifelong. And let me tell you, when Donald Trump came to my town where there's no active sewage system, and he started talking about that sissy Graydon Carter, that pansy who fucking sucks at throwing Vanity Fair parties, that really spoke to me, okay? I hate my coastal elite libtards. For that reason and that reason alone. Here's a clip of you double down on why you think Trump is zesty. Never happened before. We've had gay presidents. We've had bi presidents. We've never had a president that is also technically ace and aromantic. Those are three massive reasons why I will be voting for Donald Trump. I can't even get myself to say it. Someone's going to clip that and be like, oh, he said it. Okay, this has never. Please stop calling him A's. No, Trump is A's. Trump has never had sex for sexual gratification. Like I know that in my heart. Okay, and also just because someone is A's doesn't mean they're a good person. Okay, automatically. What the fuck are you talking about? Lincoln was bisexual. Yes. Donald Trump absolutely is ace. Okay, absolutely. He has never had sex with a woman for actual sexual desire. It is only to fucking enforce. It's only to enforce power, and it's like a thing. Like he likes pretty things, and he likes having pretty things around him. Okay, he likes having pretty objects around him, and that's why he only sees women as like objects of desire, and that they're aesthetically like nice to look at. And that's why I'm kind of shocked about the Laura Loomer situation. Okay? Like, women are, for him, status symbols. You have good status. Other men respect you more if you have sexy women around you. Okay? Like, the only reason why he cares, yeah, he likes pretty women around him because he likes the way men react to him having women around him. Yeah. Bro is not A's. You have brain damage. He 100% has never felt longing for a woman beyond just like having them around. You know, you got to reproduce every now and then, obviously, consensually and also non-consensually, as we know. Is this a HasanAbi bit or a genuine belief of yours? No, it started off as a HasanAbi bit, but then it became a genuine belief of mine. I do think that Donald Trump is ace. Like, he will be outwardly sexual, or like he will very rarely, I guess, like the way he's talked about his own daughter, I think kind of goes back to like narcissism, because that's a piece of him. Like, he is very proud of her because she's beautiful and he created a beautiful thing. And I think it's because he's so narcissistic that like he's like, look, I made this thing that's hot. I want to fuck myself. Like that type of situation. Because surprisingly enough, he has never been outwardly horny in that exact same way about any other woman. As far as I know, I have never heard Donald Trump be outwardly horny in the same way that he has like talked about Ivanka at all, ever. Okay? What about grab him by the pussy? Grab him by the pussy, literally. Bro, he raped 75 women. Dog, rape has nothing to do with sexual gratification. What's wrong with you guys? This is like this is like basic shit. This literally is about, rape is not about like, oh, I was really horny and that's why it happened. It is straight up about enforcing your will on someone. It is about power. The fuck? Harvey Weinstein doesn't even have a dick, okay? I think he has like a gangrene on his cock or some shit. Do you not remember? How the fuck did he rape so many women? Rape is directly about power. That's what you're getting like sexual gratification from. Not the actual act itself. Yeah, rape is not about sex at all. Rape is not about like in most circumstances, like sexual assault and rapes directly happen as a consequence of like wanting to enforce your power over another person and deriving some satisfaction from that. Weinstein's dick was the color and shape of a rotten egg, according to victims and attorneys' court testimony. Yeah. Why does he hate Don Jr.? Shouldn't he be horny when talking about him as well? What? No, Don Jr. is disgusting. At least Ivanka is like hot. Ivanka is a liberal elite until the, Trump presidential run. And even after that, she was still in those circles. Ivanka is everything he wanted to be his whole life. Someone who is like broadly accepted by liberal elites. Donald Trump's anger and resentment in New York towards the bicoastal elites that, perfectly played into this narrative in 2016, especially directly came from his desire to be welcomed by by this crowd that found him to be crass and rude and silly. They never actually welcomed him. Hasan can't conceive rape or sexual assault. Wait, what? Anyway, let's get back to Laura Loomer. Now that we yeah, Don Jr. is everything he hates about himself, just like directly in his face. The ugly, annoying, nervousness, like a nervous energy. Eric too. He hates them. He hates them both.
Some of former President Trump's allies.
Exactly right, George. Now we are hearing from some Republicans who are voicing concerns that Donald Trump is growing increasingly close to this far-right activist.
I'm Dante mentioned you in a video.
Yo, TC weird, and I'm Dante's vouching for him. And, like, he don't care. Like, let's stick within that. All that outside stuff is like, that's like Hasan stuff. And I don't do that. I don't do that, man. I don't want to get into that's when the stream just get boring and then like people actually arguing and actually get mad, bro. I don't know how Hasan be on stream every day like this, just like this, man.
Okay, I don't do mouth noises.
Why are we down to the same? Like, why are we supporting Tom Cruise when the world is actually No, the world is actually like you guys need to understand. What you guys don't understand is it's like, yo, damn, you really just be sitting there. I can't do that, bruh. The second nigga say something stupid, I'm like, yo, shut your bitch ass up, nigga.
He's right, and I should probably do it less. He's right, and I probably should do it less. Okay, that was a fun. That was 10-10. That was a 10-10 perfect demonstration of what I do. Like the only thing you get added to that is if I like get up to piss or serve a 3-minute ad break at the top of the hour. When there's a 3-minute ad break at the top of the hour, I also tell you that if you no longer want to see those ads, all you need to do is subscribe for $6. Even though it's September, it's actually 30% off, or for free with a Twitch Prime. By connecting your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account, you get one free Prime subscription a month. Use it on your favorite broadcaster. Hopefully that's me. Here is the 3-minute ad break now. You can also get gifted a sub if you're lucky. Boom. Goes against your narrative of being ace. No, dude, he's still ace. Okay, he's still ace. I stand by that. But also, briefly, for the sake of having a funny moment, I don't know what he sees in Laura Loomer. Not to come across like Marjorie Taylor Greene, who's like very obviously jealous because Trump has like a slot for at least one ugly woman that doesn't fit the standard of the women that he surrounds himself with. And like, it's clear to me that Marjorie wanted to be that like freakish demon looking woman by his side. And Trump completely sidestepped her and went to Laura instead. I don't know what he sees in her. I don't know. But they're fighting, and it's really funny that they're fighting.
On your plane.
Okay, a lot of people do. It's a very big plane.
Come on, Laura isn't ugly, dude. Bro. Laura Loomer is not ugly because there's a different category, okay? That's it. Like, that's the only reason. Because, like, saying that she's ugly would not fit the term. She is in the Marjorie Taylor Greene category, okay? Which is like a different thing. It's just like it's not like, it doesn't read as human. You're like, oh, I've seen this before. This is a hard to look at type of situation. And I think this is just something that you see normally in like, I don't know, like horror movies or something. Like she's scary. Scary would be the term to describe her physical appearance.
She made racist remarks about your opponent. She also espoused conspiracy theories.
Chatters, you don't need to be that quick, okay? There's 1, 2, 3, 4 chatters that had immediate links ready to go in the chat. Ain't nobody wants to see Laura Loomer that much, man. Come on now. I'm personally trying to avoid seeing Laura Loomer while talking about her. And you're like, no, let me prove that she's ugly. Like, we know, man. Why do you got that shit bookmarked?
Is about 9/11. Do you disavow those remarks?
Well, to see what the remarks are. You're telling me for the first time we're here discussing the destruction.
That's so dumb. Media is so dumb. Stop talking. Stop talking about fucking Laura Loomer's 9/11 remarks. She's done so much worse shit, okay? I don't know why they're like, oh, she said it was an inside job. Like, 1, a shit ton of Americans also believe it. And 2, it's the exact type of sentiment that is like vague enough that you can actually show conclusive evidence, okay? Like, there's enough like lack of cooperation amongst intelligence agencies, and the fact that like the fucking hijackers were trained on US soil, the fact that Osama bin Laden was personally also trained by the American State Department at the time when he was a fucking a counter-revolutionary fighter against the USSR. Like, please, okay, stop being a truther. I'm not saying like George W. Bush did 9/11 personally, okay? And that's not what I'm saying at all. But the idea that like, what do you call it? Like that is one of our worst statements when it's like there are defensible aspects of that sentiment that you can point to real historical evidence is silly, okay? I'm not like a jet fuel doesn't melt steel beams kind of guy. Okay? That's not what I'm saying at all. Do you understand? I think it's personally stupid to hyper focus on that when there's like a million other things that are way worse that she has done in the past fucking week, okay? It's like it's literally like shitting on Adolf Hitler by bringing up that he was ass cheeks at painting, okay? Like, I feel like that's not the worst thing he did, okay? I don't know. Don't call me crazy. I feel like his art is bad objectively, but like that's probably not the worst thing that he did, you know? I feel like there's a list out there of significantly worse things that he did, you know? Yeah, it's like saying O.J. Simpson was a bad tipper.
of San Francisco and California by a person that's
9/11 truthism bad at painting. Yeah. When we're talking about Laura Loomer, the Adolf Hitler comparison is not, is not a ridiculous comparison to make. Obviously, in terms of like Hitler's magnitude of evil, yes, but it's in the same direction. We are talking about a person who has called herself a white nationalist. What the fuck? Oh my God. Isn't she Jewish though? Yes, it doesn't matter. So is Stephen Miller, and he's a fucking Nazi too.
running for president. So I don't even know what you're talking about. I do know that she may have said something based on what you're telling me, but I don't know what she said.
Yeah, the media should ask about this.
Aaron, your eyes look so good. You're like beautiful.
Thank you.
You're like an Aryan degenerate goddess.
Thank you.
I love it.
Thank you. You're Aryan too.
I know, but I'm Jewish.
It's okay.
And the Nazis hate me.
It's fine.
The alt-right people want to put me in a gas chamber because they're obsessed with the Jews.
I think they're just memeing on you, but it's okay.
They're just jealous because I have big tits and an Ashkenazi IQ.
Yeah, so
Oh, all right. Here's the news conference.
It's an honor that you're here. If you'd like to take some questions.
This is where the Q&A begins. No? All right, I got to pee. I'll be back.
First of all, I know you've said that you will not do another debate. Some of your own Republican allies have come out and said that you missed the mark. That you missed
No, excuse me. Most of my Republican allies had said I was great in the debate. You're just like, a lot of other people at Fox. Well, why don't you say most 94% of the Republicans said I did phenomenally in the debate. Some said that I could have been tougher. I don't know how I could have been tougher when I said he's the worst president and she is the worst vice president in the history of our country. 94% of the Republicans, and the only one that wouldn't would maybe a Mitt Romney or somebody like that. But we've gotten great praise for the debate, and based on the polls, like Rasmussen being up 6 today, the first poll out, based on the polls, obviously, I did well in the debate. Also, based on the debate polls, where I sometimes had, in one case, 92% win. So, look, you come from Fox. You shouldn't play the same game as everybody else. Go ahead.
What would you say to your Republican colleagues or your allies who are concerned about your close relationship with Laura Loomer?
Well, I don't know what they would say. Laura's been a supporter of mine, just like a lot of people are supporters, and she's been a supporter of mine. She speaks very positively of the campaign. I'm not sure why you asked that question, but Laura is a supporter.
yes.
I don't control Laura. Laura has to say what she wants. She's a free spirit. Well, I don't know. I mean, look, I can't tell Laura what to do. Laura's a supporter. I have a lot of supporters. But I don't know what exactly you're referring to.
Mr. President.
That's okay.
Mr. President.
Yeah, please. I just don't know. Laura's a supporter. I don't know. She is a strong person. She's got strong opinions, and I don't know what she said, but that's not up to me. She's a supporter. Please.
Laura Loomer was traveling with you on your plane.
Okay, a lot of people do. It's a very big plane.
With you. She made racist remarks about your opponent. She also espoused conspiracy theories about 9/11. Do you disavow those remarks?
Well, I have to see what the remarks are. You're telling me for the first time we're here discussing the destruction of San Francisco and California by a person that's running for president. So I don't even know what you're talking about. I do know that she may have said something based on what you're telling me, but I don't know what she said. But I'll go take a look and I'll put out a statement later on. But I really don't know.
Mr. President, Springfield, Ohio is experiencing a
she's never brought it up in bed, so I've never heard of it. If she brought it up in bed, I'd know about it, but she doesn't. Her pillow talk is the best. Her pillow talk does not feature 9/11, which of course was tragic, but the silver lining was that the Trump Tower became the highest tower on Wall Street. He did say that. He said that. He called in like while 9/11 was happening to a radio show to fucking flex that his tower was the highest. God, what a man, dude. What a man. "9/11 happens, you call into television, you call into your favorite TV show to be like, now my tower is the highest." Oh, yeah, remember this? Here.
We are having some technical difficulties, which is totally understandable when you try.
Amazing phone call I made.
40 Wall Street. Did you have any damage, or did you know what's happened down there?
Well, it was an amazing phone call I made. 40 Wall Street actually was the second tallest building in downtown Manhattan, and it was actually, before the World Trade Center, was the tallest. And then when they built the World Trade Center, it became known as the second tallest, and now it's the tallest. And I just spoke to my people, and they said it's the most unbelievable sight.
Dog, this is, when I say this is during 9/11, I mean like literally this is happening while 9/11 was going on. Okay? I had a fantastic phone call. It's the tallest tower now. Wonderful stuff. Is this before or after he saw Muslims in New Jersey? Oh, yeah.
Migrant crisis. Will you
Yes.
do an event there to show the media what's actually happening, maybe a town hall?
Well, we could, and maybe we'll do that. Where are you from?
Real America's Voice.
That's good. Very good.
Amanda Head.
They're doing a very good job. Yeah.
Mr. President, what changed?
No, I will. Maybe Springfield, maybe Aurora, maybe both. We'll go there. I can say this. We will do large deportations from Springfield, Ohio. Large deportations. We're going to get these people out. We're bringing them back to Venezuela. You know, he told Biden he's not accepting anybody.
He's going to deport the Haitian migrants to Venezuela. Nice, man. Good stuff. Here, if you needed further evidence that he don't give a fuck about what he's talking about. Also, they're legal. The Venezuelans in Aurora are legal. They have TPS. So do the Haitians in Springfield. They have TPS.
Back. They moved all their criminals, not all of them, but the rest are moving in now. They emptied their jails in Venezuela, emptied their criminals, emptied the nests. They call them nests of bad people. They're all now in the United States, and they're now taking over cities. It's like an invasion from within. And we're going to have the largest deportation in the history of our country, and we're going to start with Springfield and Aurora.
The mayor of Springfield, Ohio, the police chief, the Republican governor of Ohio have all debunked this story about people eating pets. And now there are bomb threats at schools and kids being evacuated. Why do you still spread this story?
The real threat is what's happening at our border. Because you have thousands of people being killed by illegal migrants coming in and also dying. You have women dying as they come up. They're coming up in large groups. We call it a caravan. I think I came up with that name, but it's really what it is. 10,000, 15,000, 20,000 people. And you have large numbers of women.
He said he came up with the name caravan? Awesome.
And being killed in those caravans coming up to this country. And then when they get here, they can go into the country and they end up being sex slaves and everything else. Those are your real problems, not the problem that you're talking about.
Yeah, okay.
One American News.
News. A quick question. So you just said that you'll carry out the largest mass deportation of illegal immigrants. How are you going to have, for example, Governor Gavin Newsom or officials in sanctuary cities comply with that?
Well, you know, if you...
I like that for One America News, the problem isn't like mass deportation of, you know, it's One America News chatter. She's not asking the question of logistics to be like, this is cruel and unusual. She's just saying, here will be some hurdles for you. How do you see? Here will be some hurdles for you, like woke ass Governor Gavin Newsom. How will you overcome said hurdles?
You go to the people of California, they don't want to have sanctuary cities anymore. They're tired of sanctuary cities. Sanctuary cities are really blocks that protect bad people from deportation and other problems. And they're going to do it. And our federal government has tremendous power, but we're not going to let...
He did answer the school bomb threat question. He said, it doesn't matter. He said, that's not a problem. The real problem is the migrants. Okay? He did. He answered it. He's saying it don't matter that schools get bomb threats. It don't matter if like fucking a couple of Haitians are like killed in the process or whatever. What matters is the migrants. Which, by the way, remember, this is the type of shit that was the reason why everyone was very frustrated with Donald Trump in the 4 years of his administration, because he would do stuff like this all the time and his fan base went fucking crazy. This is something that Americans need to be reminded of, but because the Democratic Party is such cowardly little fucking babies that they won't invoke that. Like, they won't even use this as an electorally beneficial front because they are completely captive on the immigrant agenda, because they also went with a right-wing immigration bill, an anti-immigrant bill, which agreed to the underlying premise that immigration is a problem for national security. When you do that, it's very fucking hard for you to go back on that. And then they double down, and then they triple down, and then they quadruple down. So now we're fucking stuck. Good stuff. Great stuff.
Let states, even like California, even though I know it's largely sanctuary state, essentially, but we're not going to let that happen to the people of California. They want these people out. They're just as scared as everybody else. The people of Ohio are scared.
Dog, you are so wrong, especially about California. Okay? That is so crazy that this motherfucker's like, oh yeah, people in California they hate migrants. What are you talking about, dude? There's a reason why nobody ever talks about the border crisis in California, because it's not a fucking problem at all. It's so dumb. Yeah, dude, people in California want to deport themselves. They hate it. Piece of shit.
Scared. The people of Colorado, you have a governor there who's very weak. He doesn't know what to do. And he doesn't want to talk about it. A lot of it, as per your question, they don't want to talk about what's happening. They say it's so bad for the city. Let's not go public. Let's live with it for a little while. Maybe it'll go away. It's not going to go away. It's going to get worse. It's going to get so bad. You know what we're experiencing now is they're just getting settled in. There's 21 million people that have come in. They're just getting settled in. It's going to get much worse. It's going to get worse at a level like nobody's ever seen before. Go ahead.
Mr. President, follow-up question regarding the economy. They're seeing more and more companies. They're shipping their jobs overseas, but even for white-collar jobs,
right.
they're having problems with that. We've been seeing mass layoffs. How would you prevent these white-collar jobs from being
by lowering taxes and regulations? And what they're doing is they're seeing that every time it looks like Kamala's doing well, companies want to leave. Stock markets go down. The stock market, there's a great gentleman, Scott Bessent, who is one of the top Wall Street people. He said the market's only up because they all think that Trump is going to get elected. We had a great stock market. Even with COVID, we ended up handing over a market that was higher than previous to COVID or the China virus coming in. No, we are going to make sure that the taxes are going to stay where they are and or come down, ideally come down, both for the middle class and for corporations, because corporations put the people to work. We had the best numbers in the history of our country, by far, not even close. And there are companies leaving because they cannot stand what's happening right now to our country. And one of the reasons I'm doing this today is to let them know you're not going to have to leave because we're going to take care of the problem. They have a tremendous crime problem. Like if you're in Los Angeles, look at the crime numbers. And then you have the FBI lying about the numbers, saying the numbers went down. But anybody with common sense knows the numbers are through the roof. I didn't know they were as high as they are. But think of it. How good is a person from a government agency that would release the numbers when they saw that I was unfairly targeted by ABC, and you could say by the FBI with false numbers. So I mean, I have great respect. I have to find out who that person is or who that group is, but I have great respect. Go ahead, one more.
Mr. President, North Korea, Kim Jong-un, he just toured a uranium facility. The U.S. is saying that Iran is sending ballistic missiles to Russia. How, if reelected, how would you address the situation with our adversaries?
I'll be able to make phone calls and solve most of the problems. I may actually have to meet a couple of times. But, you know, Viktor Orban, and you've heard me say.
Great stuff, man. Oh, thank you for the Viktor Orban mention again. Crime is down as fake. Why? Because I made it up. I just decided, look around. The vibes are fucked. I will never forgive the Democratic Party for completely fucking being captive to the whims of this madman and allowing the conversation on immigration to reach this fucking boiling point. Just completely dropping the ball in the most, like, in such an evil fashion. Just letting the entire conversation be dominated by this piece of shit, especially when it directly gives them an electoral advantage. And beyond that, this is not even an issue that is like Israel, okay? This is not an issue like Israel. This is literally just like there isn't like big donors that are actively pumping the Democratic Party to be like, shut the fuck up about migrants. Like, they all rely on migrants. That is just pure incompetence. There is not even a material reason for them to actually not counter on this message. Okay? The actual reason for why the Democratic Party is not countering on this message is because they're tied to this right-wing immigration bill now, deliberately. And I said this months ago, right before October 7, when Joe Biden unveiled his immigration proposal. The only reason why they are refusing to communicate, the only reason why they are refusing to communicate on the anti-immigrant sentiment coming from the Republican Party being objectively insane, more insane than it was before, somehow, is because they are locked in. They're locked in on the anti-immigrant slant themselves because they saw polls. They saw fucking polls that said like 60% of Americans want, the 60% of Americans want mass deportation, and they got terrified. At least with Israel, there's like a significant powerful force that they can point to be like, we're fearful that they're going to launch massive opposition against us. I think it's ridiculous regardless. Those fears are unwarranted. When it comes down to it, like fixing the housing market, they could point to all the homeowners that'll be pissed off that their housing prices are going down. I still think it's ridiculous and they should do the right thing on that front as well. But this issue, as it pertains to the right-wing sentiment that Donald Trump is expressing about migrants, is completely unacceptable. It's gotten worse than 2016 and worse than 2020, and they're not even fucking saying anything about it because they're trapped. They lock themselves into this weird ass position, and anyone with more than 3 fucking brain cells could have seen this being a major problem. When you go right, they're going to go more right. You can't win that argument, dumbass. You cannot outflank the Republican Party on racism. And even if you could, the question is, should you? I mean, you did. I know. I've been saying this for fucking months. I mean, I've been saying this for years, technically.
Say this, but it wasn't long ago. He said the only way you're going to solve the world problem is Trump has to be president again. And I don't say it. I didn't say it. I sort of would be embarrassed to say it. But he said everybody was afraid of Trump. He said China was afraid, Russia was afraid, North Korea was afraid. Everybody was afraid. We had no wars. We defeated ISIS in 4 weeks. And they said it was going to take 5 years, right? The generals in Washington. I went there and met a great general and some great people. And I said, go to it. And he took them out in 4 weeks, 100% of the ISIS caliphate. I flew there. I flew to Iraq, to the field. And they took them out in a very short period of time, short order. We have a great military, but, you know, a great military needs a leader. If you don't have leaders, then you end up with Afghanistan, the worst withdrawal from a country in the history. Look, I've gotten to know great people. I went to Arlington at their request, and I stood, and I was with them for hours, and I stood with them. They did a ceremony, and then they asked me if I'd go down to the graves of their children. They called them their children, that they always will be their children. And there were tears all over, as they should be. And they said, sir, could you take pictures with me by the grave of my son?
What the fuck? A family of 4 in Rochester, New York was just murdered by an illegal immigrant who came from Puerto Rico? Does he think Puerto Rico is not an American territory? Like, what the fuck's going on? Anyway, we'll look back at the new thing that they... Listen, anytime an undocumented migrant or someone who is suspected of being an undocumented migrant, as in brown, does anything, you're going to hear about it from this day onward, okay? And if there's nothing going on that front, then they'll just make shit up like they did with they're eating fucking cats and dogs. Have you ever met a single conservative that knows Puerto Ricans have U.S. citizenship? Democrats don't even fucking know that half the time.
In one case, a daughter. And I said, I'd love to. And I took pictures with them for a while, and then I left, and that was it. And I got home, and I got a call from the people in the campaign. Sir, the Biden people are saying that you did this for publicity. If people knew how hard it was to get there, because I was coming...
I'm going to be real, Chief. I learned that when you just said it. Wait, what? God damn, dude. Yeah, we know their priorities are not exactly there when a fucking registered Republican tried to assassinate him, and they just shut the fuck up about that immediately. But, if a fucking person who even may or may not be undocumented does something, God forbid, that very same thing that like American citizens do 10,000 times over, then you'll hear about it for weeks. We have no way of examining, most people have no way of examining this from the lens of like individuals, okay? They don't look at it and go, okay, this is like a fucking criminal. Like, it happens. And I hope that justice is served in a swift manner. No, they go, all right, this is how they all are. And because they're all illegal, okay, then you find out they're not illegal, okay, because they have TPS, temporary protected status, so they have paperwork so they can work on U.S. soil. Then they go, okay, but we don't want them legally either because their IQs are low or some other shit. That's what the problem is, okay? It is
to keep immigration alive, front and center in this campaign conversation. He believes that is something that can sort of gain ground.
He's not trying to keep immigration alive front and center. He's trying to kill migrants. Okay? The real principle behind this kind of movement and messaging is to basically whip up a racialized frenzy against the migrant population in this country. And considering that these are not undocumented migrants, but instead documented refugees with temporary protected status that happen to be black, it's very obvious that they do not even want the documented migrants to be here. They just don't want, they need an outgroup to kill. That's it. They need an outgroup to radicalize against. Two bomb threats. They had to close 2 schools in Springfield. They had to close down City Hall.
That he was unable to do at the debate. But imagine all that would do for that town of Springfield.
Let's bring in Donny O'Sullivan to the conversation as well. And on the topic of Afghanistan, Donny, and then you can leap off on whatever fact check you see of import on this, because there is a lot. He said and seemed to indicate that there were 18 months in his presidency where there were no casualties in Afghanistan. That's not true. This was a period of time that actually spanned his presidency and Joe Biden's presidency. But he also seemed to rebuff suggestions that he had politicized the deaths of American service members by then going on to politicize the deaths of U.S. service members, saying just as if Kamala had shot them with a pistol in her hand.
Brianna, I mean, I think just taking all of that press conference and what we've heard through the last few days, I mean, we're really through the looking glass here when it comes to, you mentioned schools in Springfield, Ohio being shut down because of these conspiracy theories. One thing that did stand out to me there towards the end of what we took from the press conference was he was asked about whether he would start posting again regularly on X, formerly Twitter. Of course, he was kicked off off of Twitter after January 6th. He's now back on the platform thanks to Elon Musk, but he isn't posting regularly. I think that highlights something important here, which is easy to get lost in all the developments that is happening, is that the role of Elon Musk has in all of this, right? Because Laura Loomer, who most Americans probably have not heard of until this week, she was effectively cancelled. She was kicked off Twitter years ago. Musk brought her back. She now has millions of followers. Her posts are going viral all over the world. She has become and been made relevant in part by Elon Musk. And of course, you can see over the past few weeks all the other ways that Musk has been helping Trump, actively promoting posts and also hosting discussions with him. So I think that's just one thing to mention here. And just back to the idea that Trump doesn't know really what Laura Loomer is about, you don't have to dig hard for these posts. I mean, it's literally, it's every second post is something toxic, is something racist, is something hateful from Laura Loomer.
Daniel Dale, I mean, you've followed Trump and some of these dubious claims better than most. What did you take from that press conference?
I thought you all did fantastic fact-checking, truly. You barely need me on this panel anymore. The California claim is absolutely accurate. I think it was great. But the California claim is bonkers. Like, it's one thing to say I would have won Pennsylvania if the count was honest. The count is, of course, honest in swing states too. But he lost California by 5 million votes, about 30 points. So even under the wildest imaginary conception of voter fraud, election fraud in this country, that's still bananas. He said again, as he usually has, that ISIS was defeated in 4 weeks during his presidency. In fact, the ISIS caliphate, or so-called caliphate, was declared liberated about 2 years into his presidency. He spoke of supposedly thousands of people being murdered by migrants under Biden-Harris. There have been some homicides in which undocumented people are accused. I don't have a precise number, but it is nowhere near thousands.
I do. How do you not have a precise number on that, Daniel? Your whole thing is fact-checking. The number is 26. In the fiscal year 2024, the number is 26. It's kind of wild that when I brought this up to a fucking American politician, Ro Khanna, he was shocked by the number. And if you remember my conversation with Ro Khanna, I was like, why are the Democrats not just constantly fucking talking about this? Overall homicides and manslaughter in this country is like around 20,000, okay? Undocumented migrants contribute 29, like 29, that's it. He said accused, not convicted. What are you talking about, dude? You could just accuse. Okay. I accuse every murder ever committed on migrants. I guess then that's fine. Like, what are you talking about? Where did the 29 number come from? It's not 29. It's 25, I think. It's the Customs and Border Patrol. .gov. Import the third world, become the third world. We have to prioritize our own people, not who's actually like, dude. Wait till this white supremacist gets his fucking talking points out before banning him. Come on. Import the third world, become the third world. We have to prioritize our own people and those who actually have a place in the U.S., not people who don't have jobs, who don't have anywhere to go, who have no skills or anything else to offer the country, who don't have a dollar to their name and no business in the U.S. in the first place. That's really interesting copium because Springfield, Ohio, that we're talking about specifically, literally had a shit ton of jobs readily available that they could not fill because it was a town that the industry had left behind. Okay? Springfield, Ohio got an influx of Haitian migrants specifically because there was need for working hands. They went there and they filled those roles. That's the reason why the guy typing this is definitely unemployed. Oh, 100%. Springfield, Ohio's taxable revenue increased as a consequence of this, okay? By a lot, as a matter of fact. I think it was like, what, 25% increase in taxable revenue year over year? You just basically said a whole bunch of nonsense, okay? They're just people. Some of them are good, some of them are bad. All of them are looking for the same things, okay? They're all looking for the same things, to be able to get, to be able to make an honest living, to be able to have a roof over their heads, to be able to put food on the table, okay? And the economy has nursing student who works at a hospital, so not unemployed. Oh my God, dude. Don't get me fucking started on this, okay? I just wouldn't admit that if I were you, because you just said something so fucking stupid and so racist. Like, every single thing that you brought up with respect to Springfield, Ohio is just wrong. Now that I've told you this, does that actually change your perspective at all? Do you think, will you question it a little bit more, the narratives that you've read into? Or are you going to double down? In order to become a nurse, as a nursing student, you read shit, right? You read stuff. You get tests. You have to, you have to have decent fucking grades. Like, you have to exercise some level of critical thinking, which many nurses unfortunately lack sometimes, okay? I know a lot. Not all nurses are great, okay? I'll just say it. Having said that, like this one, it's not a requirement for the job. Anyway, does this make you reconsider? Does what I just told you make you reconsider your stance at all? Many nurses are as stupid as the cops they're married to. I'm imagining Andrew being married to a cop. M. Hud. Anyway, we're doing nurse slander out here, and our resident nurse is not even in the chat. And his brother is slandering him. It's messed up. Okay, all jokes aside, I want to know if this guy like got any new takeaway from this, or if he just moved on. I don't know, man. I appreciate the dialogue, but I have to agree with Trump's plan. Wait, what? Dude, what do you mean you appreciate the dialogue? Did nothing go through? Like, did any of the information that I gave you register? Springfield, Ohio is in a state of fucking disrepair before the Haitian migrants actually came in. The reason why they went there is because it's a very poor town that needed a lot of people working these jobs that were now readily available. That's the reason why they went there. They also did get those jobs. They also increased the state's taxable, or increased the city's taxable revenue by like 20%. Don't you think that that's a good thing overall? This is the exact same attitude that conservatives demonstrated with Hazleton, Pennsylvania. They were like, "Oh, we would rather have a town be left behind but remain white than have a bunch of Mexicans come here and actually fucking revitalize the town." That's usually what happens. Now, the real question I have to ask you is, do you have this exact same kind of opinion of people that come from one state to the next? They're documented U.S. citizens, just like the Haitians are. They're fucking not U.S. citizens, but they're documented. They're not like undocumented migrants, right? They have temporary protected status. They're refugees. They're working. They got the paperwork to be able to work. So do you have this kind of attitude when like there's an influx of people coming from, I don't know, California to Nevada? Yesterday, someone tried to make this argument. Also, they got, that's nice bathroom is right. They got TPS under Trump too, by the way. So that's the other part of the story that's like kind of silly. Venezuelans got TPS under Trump. Trump also greatly accelerated the sanctions on Venezuela that deliberately was to cause instability, deliberately to cause chaos inside of Venezuela, which of course led to a shit ton of more migrants coming to the United States of America. Now, it's not even a problem at all in terms of like Venezuelan people coming here. There's no issue with this. Because at the end of the day, the real problem always is that these guys are not able to unionize, right? They're not able to participate in the workforce in the same exact ways that the rest of the documented U.S. labor force works. The real solution is to allow them to give them the proper documentation and allow them to fucking unionize alongside everybody else.
from a location that was very far away, and yet they were having the ceremony, and I really felt, I had them up to Bedminster, most of the family members, and I got to...
Fair enough argument. Oh, shit. I accidentally fucking banned him. Unban. Fair enough argument. America is a place where everyone is known for a melting pot for a reason. Do you think we should have any regulation on immigration or just let everyone in? I think anyone and everyone that wants to come into this country, as long as they don't have like a fucking record that is like truly heinous or some shit, which you can literally look at if you process them, should be able to come in. Yes. And if they want to work for an extended period of time, depending on the needs of the economy, because there might be certain instances where there's like too much of a certain type of labor, for example, or whatever. Those are like economic reasons as to why you would restrict certain aspects of immigration. But yes, the immigration process in this country is utterly fucked. And yes, they should absolutely process these people faster and allow them to come in. That is a significantly better way to actually do national security. The irony, of course, is that this already happens, right? Like you have state by state, border crossers, I guess, amongst documented American citizens. Nobody ever bats an eye at that. No one ever goes, whoa, well, what if someone is a pedophile in the fucking state of Florida and then they travel to the state of Ohio? It's like, yeah, we have a process to catch these people, but ultimately you're not ever going to make this argument to make like harder boundaries among states internally. The only difference is you personally think that these guys that are coming in are somehow nefarious, somehow bad. They're here for bad purpose. They're here to do evil things. What's Hasan's opinion on Tyler Oliveira's video on Springfield? It was the most Hitlerian YouTube video I've seen in a long time.
They know them. They're great people. Their sons and daughter, just as though Kamala shot them with a pistol in her hand or his hand, they were killed by Biden and Kamala. They were killed. They should have never left from that airfield. They should have left for Bagram. We should have never given up Bagram. Bagram now is controlled by China. The reason we shouldn't have given it up was not because of Afghanistan. The reason we shouldn't have given it up, 1 hour away from where China makes its nuclear weapons, and I wasn't giving it up. We were getting out quickly and effectively. I'm the one that got the numbers down to less than 5,000 soldiers. But I would have never left unless they fulfilled their obligations under an agreement. I had a wonderful agreement, but the agreement said you have to do this, this, this. They didn't do 3 of the first 5 things, so therefore they would have done it. Abdul was the leader.
That's crazy that he just straight up said like Biden and Kamala Harris assassinated all of our soldiers. That's wild.
And he wouldn't have done it, and he would have never done that to us. And just in finishing up with that, and I appreciate the question actually, but in finishing up with that, for 18 months, spoke to Abdul over the phone. For 18 months, not one American soldier was shot or killed. Not one American soldier was even...
It's weird because you were president for much longer than 18 months. So why do you say in 18 months not a single American soldier was shot and killed? Because you were president before those 18 months. And it seems like a lot more American soldiers were killed in that process, which you also openly admitted during the debate is why you negotiated with Abdul. I live near Hazleton, Pennsylvania. People are still so insanely racist, even though the migrant population brought back the mall there from the brink of closing and opened several more businesses and have increased the quality of life there by a ton. Used to be a shithole when I was younger, but you can go hang out there for a day now. It's awesome. Yeah. Hazleton, Pennsylvania is a perfect demonstration of like how immigrants basically are the backbone of this country and how immigrants end up literally revitalizing places that are in a state of dire disrepair. And also the reaction to Hazleton, Pennsylvania from the former residents of Hazleton, Pennsylvania, some of the former residents of Hazleton, Pennsylvania, is also a perfect demonstration of the fact that like a lot of these people would rather die than live next to fucking brown people. Okay? Like they would, there's like hella people straight up, like old racist dumb fuckers who would rather die than live next to a brown person. That's it. And Tucker Carlson used Hazleton as an example of a country, of a county whose demographic makeup changed dramatically. You have video. I've dealt with this issue before. This is not my first fucking foray into the subject matter. Immigration is a major problem for me. Like the way we treat immigrants in this country is obviously a something that I have personal feelings about. It's something that I've been covering for years and years, and I've noticed that like the Democratic Party is always capitulated, but nowadays they've like completely dropped the counter argument, the counter messaging, and beyond that, they don't even like demand any sort of like concessions from the Republicans. Yeah. This is from the woke George W. Bush Institute, summer of 2018. You know, those woke guys. This dude is always eating. Yes, I eat at the same time every day. If you come in here at the same time every day, you're going to watch me eat for a little bit. Okay. I apologize. I'm a human being and I spend 8 hours in front of the camera every day. And yes, in those 8 hours, one of those 8 hours, I'm going to be eating. You don't have to watch me eat though. You can just turn it off or you can just, you know, watch the 3-minute ad break at the top of the hour, for example. But if you want to watch me eat uninterrupted, then all you need to do is subscribe for $6, even though it's 30% off right now. So I don't know what that means math wise, or for free with a Twitch Prime. You too can watch me eat uninterrupted. Do you respond to someone commenting on how you eat at the same time every day? Pretty much. That's why a lot of times I feel like, you know, days just kind of melt into one another, you know? It's just like I have no concept of time anymore. I do feel sometimes like a robot that is just repeating the same things over and over and over again. Oftentimes the same points over and over and over again. It's very interesting. Anyway, it's not just Tucker Carlson's video. There is a video that I've done on Tucker Carlson. Let's find that one. Here. In terms of like immigration.
Hi, Tucker Carlson's white pilling your dads every night.
On the left, you may have noticed everything is about race. Everything, even things that have nothing to do with race.
There's one thing Tucker Carlson hates. It's continuing to wear bow ties. That and talking about race. Unless it's about preserving the white race.
Everybody gets a safe space except white men. They are hated and despised. Attacking white men for being white men. Attack white men for their privilege in a whole bunch of ways.
I was handed a box of saltine crackers, and in a group chat during the event, a student photoshopped my face onto a cracker.
This is what
Isn't it funny that like dudes who used to be a part of this community or at least adjacent to this community back when I used to make these videos, unironically now behaving exactly the same fucking way as that kid that went on Tucker Carlson? I'm of course talking about Boner Chelly's fan base and how much they get mad about anti-white racism.
Tucker Carlson's doing with Bill O'Reilly's coveted 8 p.m. slot on Fox News, which is currently the third most popular cable news show in the country.
By the way, just to pause, I assume that's a slur against your ethnicity, correct?
I've talked about this on my Twitch a lot, but only the most important subjects are covered on Tucker's show, like white genocide, which is in fact something that the left is advocating for, apparently.
But he did not notably advocate for genocide. A Georgetown professor called Christine Fair did do that.
Imagine being a producer on Tucker's show, constantly scouring the internet looking for blue checkmark Twitter users saying dumb things while they're emotionally distraught in order to make wild claims like that the left is advocating for white genocide. Of course, this isn't how white genocide is actually happening. According to the folks Tucker is mirroring, white genocide is happening because immigration is changing the nation's demographics, and it's being justified by an evil liberal plot called diversity.
Diversity is our strength, they screech, as if that settles the conversation by itself, like a magic talisman.
Diversity. We hear about it non-stop. It's the mainstream motto.
Tucker's relentless attacks against diversity, multiculturalism, and immigrants as a whole are literally identical to white supremacists, white nationalists, and neo-Nazis. They're also reductive and oftentimes completely baseless comparisons.
How precisely is diversity our strength? Since you've made this our new national motto, please be specific as you explain it.
Well, for one, diverse executive boards generate better returns, among countless other studies that show the many benefits of diversity, but I'm sure the biases of racially anxious agitators are more important than empirical evidence.
Can you think, for example, of other institutions, such as, I don't know, marriage or military units, in which the less people have in common, the more cohesive they are?
Well, Tucker, you have the most in common with your family members. Are you suggesting keeping marriage within your family? Why do you want to have sex with your cousins, Tucker? Also, as far as non-diverse militaries go, maybe you should open a history book and take that up with General Robert E. Lee. Go on, Tuck. What else?
Latin American countries are changing election outcomes here by forcing demographic change on this country at a rate that American voters consistently say they don't want.
This assertion is preposterous because, I mean, it's completely untrue. Just look at polling data. 75% of Americans say that immigration is a good thing. So who are the Americans you're referring to here? These guys?
It sounds to me like we got a problem with people who got here legally, altering the landscape politically. I don't like it. You. Stop it.
But I guess we should just run the country on the white fragility of crying neo-Nazis as opposed to the overwhelming majority of Americans' wishes. But play us out, Tucker. Give us a cherry-picked example that could easily be countered with facts.
Hazleton's population was 2% Hispanic. Just 16 years later, Hazleton is majority Hispanic. That's a lot of change. People who grew up in Hazleton return to find out they can't communicate with the people who now live there, and that's bewildering for people.
Hazleton's a perfect example of immigrants saving a small coal mining town from absolute economic annihilation by opening up small businesses, and even the large immigrant-run corporations who have brought jobs over to the small town. This is, of course, despite the efforts made by the white population to fight off the immigrant scourge with unconstitutional regulations. And even the Nat Geo article that you're using here to advance your narrative mentions the reality that immigration has drastically improved Hazleton. But you won't hear that part because Tucker's not in the business of making America better. He's just trying to do white identity politics. And I'm sorry to tell you this, Tucker, but facts don't care about your feelings. I'm Hasan Piker. If you're mad that one of the biggest
damn, dog. This motherfucker is right. Oh my God. Extremely unimaginably rare HasanAbi W, bro. Just kidding. I've been saying this for years. Suck my dick, everybody.
Investing in the ambitions and aspirations and the incredible work ethic of the American people, and creating opportunity for people, for example,
that
to
was
start
fucking
a small
6
business.
years ago, by the way, that video.
My opportunity economy plan includes giving startups a $50,000 tax deduction to start their small business. It used to be $5,000. Nobody can start a small business with $5,000. Opportunity economy means, look, we don't have enough housing in America. We have a housing supply shortage. And what that means, in particular for so many younger Americans, the American dream is elusive. It's just actually not attainable. To help people who just want to get their foot in the door, literally. And so giving first-time home buyers a $25,000 down payment.
Anytime she says we opportunity America, I'm Brian, kill me, dude.
Approach is to expand the child tax credit to $6,000 for young families for the first year of their child's life.
Americans need help. They need $6 to avoid the top of the hour ad break, which I forgot to fucking run after I said I was going to serve it. Here's a 3-minute ad break now. 20K viewers, you fell off. Picker is at the heart of this issue. This is one part of that process. This is one fact that shows that treating housing as an investment, of course, is going to inevitably lead to the housing market behaving in the most predictable way possible. And yes, that's why I always get mad at the Yimbies and the Nimbies when they like fucking duke it out in the chat. Because there's truth to both sides of that argument, okay? Because ultimately the problem is capitalism. Ultimately, the problem is the profit motive associated with the way that people analyze housing. That is the real problem. Housing needs to be decommoditized. I am in favor of building denser housing around transit. You're absolutely correct on this front. That's why every time I talk about this issue, Yimbies think I'm a Yimby. And every time I also talk about this issue, Nimbies think I'm a Nimby. Which, by the way, Steph Curry is the actual NIMBY in this situation, but a lot of Yimbies who are, yes, in my backyarders, the urbanists, okay, in my opinion, openly rely far too much on market conditions when in fact the actual system is fundamentally broken as a direct consequence of market conditions. If you have a bunch of upper middle class people who own homes and see their housing value as a direct way to generate net worth for themselves and as a asset that they can leverage against and borrow against, then they always want to make sure that their housing value goes up. How do you make that housing value go up? By reducing supply or limiting supply. Okay? One of the biggest problems with housing in this country is, in my opinion, a lack of government intervention. Okay? A lack of direct government intervention. That's what needs to happen. And the irony is, given that there are more renters than there are owners of homes, that the democratic process would allow government intervention in this process. Problem is, renters are poorer than homeowners. And therefore, homeowners and their attitude matters more. They're high propensity voters. If you're a renter, you're probably a lower propensity voter than a homeowner. This is the real problem in a place like California, where we fucking look for new initiatives year over year in an effort to at least attempt to decommodify housing, or in an attempt to like fix at least certain aspects of the housing crisis. We get nothing done because people vote for it democratically year over year, and then Governor Gavin Newsom, gruesome Gavin Newsom, destroys those initiatives. The only initiative you ever get is actually some fucking neoliberal urbanist bullshit like, oh, we can build ADUs. Here, we'll give you a tax credit so that you can fucking build an ADU. Build public housing. Build public housing. Okay? I don't give a fuck. Yes, in my backyard. Build public housing in my backyard, please. Okay? Please. It's not about building more units. It's also about building affordable units. Okay? It's not about building more units. It's also about ensuring that it is not cost effective any longer for people to sit on real estate without using it. Anyway.
the experts say is just not true. And Brianna, you fact-checked the claim about debate polls. I think we can get more specific. He said, you know, he has more than...
It's boring.
Official Truth of America first.
Let's get to Laura Loomer before we get to the full interview on ABC 6. This is why the rich are freaking out about the unrealized gains thing that Kamala wants to do. In my suburb, little neighborhood, 1/4 of all the houses are empty, owned by giant corps. Yeah, it's funny though, because none of the rich people in your fucking neighborhood would actually be harmed in any meaningful way, harmed by taxing unrealized gains at the levels that they want to tax. It's just fucking idiotic. Everybody personally thinks that they're 100 millionaires when they're not. That's why the dumbest guy you know, whose only tangible asset, okay, is his own personal property in the form of a fucking busted ass 1999 Honda Civic that was a hand-me-down from his older brother. But that guy thinks he's a rugged capitalist, okay? That guy's in the chat right now, probably chirping on his 11th stock account, being like, you're fucking idiot, Hasan. You fucking claim to be a communist. Meanwhile, you have a nice-ass house, okay? And you also have a nice-ass car. I fucking hate you, you fucking piece of shit. You're actually a real capitalist. It's like, okay, so what? Yes, I'm a capitalist. What changed? What changed? Let's say I'm a capitalist. Did my argument change at all? It didn't. You're just a fucking idiot. It has nothing to do with what I'm saying. You just don't want to listen to what I'm saying. That's why I always say this. I'm like, yeah, call me a capitalist. I don't give a fuck. Yeah, sure. I love capitalism. You got me. Okay, now let's discuss the issue at hand. But nobody ever wants to do that. It's very stupid. Like, do you think it's beneficial for me to present myself as a socialist in a fucking nation where, you know, this is the country where the Red Scare propaganda was most effective? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? If anything, it's a weight that constantly is on my goddamn shoulders that, like, makes everyone less charitable to me. I don't give a shit. Practice what you preach. How much you want to bet you have no idea what I'm practicing and what I'm preaching? I can't practice what you preach, idiot. I'm practicing what I'm preaching. It's just I'm not practicing what you think I'm preaching. That's the problem. We're not going to have this conversation a million times over. If you think I'm a capitalist, then yeah, I am. I'm the biggest capitalist you've ever done seen. Who gives a fuck? Now let's talk about the actual issues that matter. You know? Unironically reinforcing the idea that rich people shouldn't want socialism is so detrimental to fucking fuck. I mean, I get why people are hostile towards that sort of thing. It makes sense because plenty of people whose extraction of revenue requires them to hire help, hire workers, yes, automatically develop that kind of attitude where they're like, oh, I don't want this system to change at all. This is how I make my money. The difference, however, is that it doesn't matter for me because I'm the one who's fucking working. Yeah. As the one who's working, I have to deal with these little fucking micromanager shitheads all the time. All right, let's continue. Who is Laura Loomer, the right-wing activist in Trump's inner circle? I'm stroking my shit right now. Yeah, you got oil on your shit?
This is far-right activist Laura Loomer and white nationalist Nick Fuentes cheering to
the hostile takeover of the Republican Party.
Absolutely. And they're not wrong. Both met personally with Donald Trump. I first met Loomer in 2017 at an event for manosphere influencer Mike Cernovich. At the time, Loomer was an activist who'd celebrated the deaths of Muslim migrants. But she was being harassed by white nationalist trolls because she's a Jewish woman. Since then, she's taken a strange trajectory, with years somewhat in obscurity because she'd been banned from so many social media sites like Twitter. When Elon Musk took over Twitter, she came back. She does stunts like ambush interviews.
Frank, why aren't you supporting President Trump? I'm a successful investigative journalist.
Loomer recently told CNN she's not anti-Muslim. Now, some might dispute that she's entered the mainstream, but she's reached the former president's elite inner circle. Flying to the presidential debate on Trump's plane, and to New York as he observed the anniversary of 9/11. A notable appearance.
Somewhat Maoist here. Everyone should have a house, even streamers, even though their audiences think it's a crime. That's awesome. God, I love streaming, dude. This is why, okay? I love this community. I love that I'm fortunate enough to be able to build a community like this. It's fucking fantastic, okay?
Since Loomer has pushed the false conspiracy theory that 9/11 was an inside job. She's been seen with Trump a lot.
We're here at Bedminster. I'm with the greatest president ever.
After rumors circulated among right-wing Twitter users, including Loomer, that Haitian...
Genuine question, is giving her this much airtime good or bad? No, it's over. She's already in his inner circle. Hiding the truth about her fucking insanity is worse, okay? Up until the very moment... Look, guys, I have a policy of not highlighting Nazis on this broadcast, even if they're doing a lot of funny things that, you know, people love to clown on them for, until it gets to a certain point where they reach a prominent mainstream platform, and at which point they have to be fucking dealt with. Okay? Laura Loomer is the perfect example of this, where, like, until she reaches Trump's inner circle, she's irrelevant. Who gives a fuck? Don't talk about it ever. Do not give her any fucking, do not give her even a moment of coverage. But the moment that she reaches Donald Trump's inner circle, then it's a problem. Okay? Then you have to cover what the fuck is going on there. Is she a Zionist or a Nazi? First of all, Zionists are Nazis. What are we talking about? That's number one. And number two, she is both a Zionist and a Nazi at the same time. She's reaching far more than the inner circle. Connor, you are one of my favorite, consistent, funniest members of the community. Yeah. What's interesting is not that she's both a Zionist and a Nazi, because, you know, that's a distinction without a difference in many instances. What's interesting is that she is a Nazi and she's Jewish at the same time. How can Zionists be Nazis? Zionism is the exact same thing as Nazism. It's just that the in-group that is supposed to be holding on to the power and racial superiority or ethnic superiority or religious superiority is different than the Nazis, and the out-group that you're supposed to be dominating is different. That's it. It's both fascist, okay? Zionism is a fascist ideology. It is an ultra-nationalist ideology built around ethnic and religious boundaries, okay? That's it. Who is considered to be Übermensch and who is considered to be Untermensch in this regard is different, but the fundamentals are the same because it is fascist. Like, you purposely ignored Booger Nick until he was in the inner circles of Kanye's campaign and had dinner with Trump. Exactly. I never talked about Nicholas Fuentes. I never brought him fucking chicken and waffles or had my ex-wife now make him a sandwich when he was at my house and we were fucking hanging out, because why the fuck would I do that? Why would I give him a prominent role? Why would I platform him? That is insane. Because I'm not a fucking Nazi like some people. You know. You banned the shit out of me. Wait, where's that chatter? You banned the shit out of me a few years ago for sending a Fuentes link. Yeah, of course. You know what's really funny about that? I do that shit, and then people get real fucking mad. They're like, oh, how dare you do that? Some people are understanding, like Hellbender, 62 month subscriber. Other people see that and literally clip it on Reddit and post it on the fucking boner Chelly community to be like, Hasan can't take criticism. That's why he banned a long-term community member. I'm like, yeah, you should know better. Anyway.
Immigrants are eating people's pets in Ohio. Trump repeated the claim in the debate.
They're eating the dogs, the people that came in.
I spoke to Loomer before the debate. She told me she's attacked as a childless woman who devotes all her time to a man who will never pay attention to her, meaning Trump. But Trump does pay attention to her and reads her reports.
Laura, how are you? You look so beautiful, as always. You don't want to be Loomered. If you're Loomered, you're in deep trouble. Trump!
Oh!
Good morning, everybody. My name is Laura Loomer.
She ran for Congress twice and lost. But she told me she built a constituency among the very pro-Trump voters in the Villages, a retirement community that's important in Florida Republican politics. She called them boomers for Loomer, and they were paying attention when she began attacking Governor Ron DeSantis for having the temerity to run for president against Trump.
You are never going to be president of the United States of America.
Loomer told me one of her donors let it slip that DeSantis was running for president in 2021. So on the first stop on the DeSantis book tour, she stood in front with a Trump sign and a t-shirt. Despite her new closeness to the former president, some pro-Trump Republicans are very against her.
Her rhetoric and her tone is
Okay. Now it makes sense. Trump has become increasingly more paranoid over the years. And as a direct consequence of that, he has made his circle even tighter. This is the exact same reason why he chose J.D. Vance, who is a bloodless, soulless, monstrous brown noser. And this is now, I assume, the reason why he has Laura Loomer in his corner, because that is a ride or die.
does not match the base, does not match MAGA, does not match most Republicans I know, and I am completely denouncing it. I'm over it.
There is a growing feud that is playing out in public today, and it's really exposing tensions between Donald Trump's allies. Far-right activist Laura Loomer was seen with Trump yesterday at events commemorating 9/11, despite the fact that she previously spread conspiracy theories about those very terrorist attacks.
Yeah, she posted on social media saying that it was an inside job. She was also seen getting off his plane. You see the video here. This is in Philadelphia, just ahead of the debate. Some of Loomer's comments, though, have proven to be too extreme for some in MAGA world. CNN's Manu Raju's following this story. Manu, Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene is not holding back going after Loomer, and now other Republicans are joining her. What are they saying?
Yeah, that's right. In fact, Marjorie Taylor Greene, someone herself who has been very outspoken, very controversial in some of her rhetoric, but she says what Laura Loomer has been saying has been going too far. And she contends it does not represent the MAGA movement, does not represent former President Donald Trump. This in the aftermath of her racist post about Kamala Harris's Indian heritage. That was too much for Marjorie Taylor Greene, and then afterwards Loomer went to attack her on social media. So I asked her about this feud between those two, and this is what MTG said to me just moments ago.
Concerns about her rhetoric and her hateful tone. To me, many of the comments that she makes.
Oh my God, I just realized maybe Marjorie Taylor Greene hates her because she's Jewish. Before I said Marjorie Taylor Greene hates her because like Trump has to have one Trump can only have one ugly, like freakish looking demonic woman in his corner. And like first it was Sarah Huckabee Sanders, and then now it's, you know, it was supposed to be Marjorie Taylor Greene, but like kind of Laura Loomer just like came in and, you know, cast her aside. And I thought maybe that was the reason, but now I'm thinking it could be because don't forget Alina Habba. Alina Habba is a fucking smoke show. What do you mean? Alina Hubba? Are you crazy? Donald Trump does not give a shit about what women do beyond the fact that they just look good behind him and like other dudes think that that's sick. The two angles that I think MTG, the 2 or 3 different angles here, okay? One, it could be because Marjorie Taylor Greene is anti-Semitic and thinks that Jews have space lasers, which, by the way, she used to think that before Israel said they're working on an actual space laser. That has nothing to do with what Marjorie Taylor Greene was saying. That's totally besides the point. But she used to say Jews have space lasers, and maybe she's mad that, you know, she wants it in the hands of America, and she probably thinks that Laura Loomer knows where the space laser is. That could be one reason. The other reason could be that Marjorie Taylor Greene is upset because she was supposed to be slotted into the hideous, the hideous demonic monster category that Trump has to have around him at all times. Or, last but not least, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and I'm sorry to say this, I know people are going to get mad. Marjorie Taylor Greene is a sexual dynamo. This is a factually accurate assessment of the situation, okay? She is. You might not like it, but this is what peak sexual performance looks like. We know this because she literally cheated on her husband at the time with her like weird tantric sex gym owner, CrossFit gym owner, who Laura Loomer says looked like Zangief. Marjorie Taylor Greene since then has allegedly slept with Kevin McCarthy and also the guy at like One America News or whatever, or Newsmax. That's the boyfriend. That's the open boyfriend that she has now. Most controversial take is not even controversial, it's just the truth. I think a lot of you look at a woman that looks like a Titan from Attack on Titan and you think like she's not capable of being a sexual dynamo. Okay? But the unfortunate reality is that she absolutely can be a sexual dynamo and is a sexual dynamo. You couldn't even run your own family. Don't tell me how to run my free speech. This is who Marjorie Taylor Greene fucked. Embattled QAnon Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene openly cheated on her husband of 25 years with a polyamorous tantric sex guru and then moved on to another affair with the manager at her gym. This is, I mean, come on, guys. You know this at least. I've covered it a lot. I cover it all the time. I bring it up like all the time. You've definitely heard me talk about this. Is it absolutely necessary to talk about this? Yes. Yes, it is. Not only is it absolutely appropriate to talk about it, you have to talk about it, and you literally have to memorize these facts. Okay? I will be quizzing you on this later.
and how she attacks Republicans like me, many other Republicans that are strong supporters of President Trump. I think they're a huge problem. And that doesn't represent MAGA as a whole.
She's still traveled with the former president. Would you encourage Trump not to keep close contact with her?
You know, Laura Loomer has lost 2 Republican congressional campaigns, one in a general and one in a primary.
Damn!
And
damn!
This is such an important election. I don't think that she has the experience or the right mentality to advise a very important presidential election. But I do know this, that her rhetoric.
Dude, what is this? Welcome back, Nikki Haley. Dude, ever since she started fucking Kevin McCarthy, okay? Ever since she started fucking Kevin McCarthy, she's been like so... Like, obviously, she still does the QAnon shit. But every now and then, dude, like, she just has like a moment of clarity and you're like, you're Marjorie Taylor Greene. Like, what do you mean? This is not the Republican Party. Like, you literally are the Jewish space lasers lady. Like, you were at an event for January 6 prisoners, like last week, advocating for their release. Like, you called them political hostages and shit. Like, I don't understand. Like, there's nothing funnier than being like, wow, it's like AOC coming out and being like, the Democratic Party has gotten too woke, folks. You know? We got to stop. We got to cut it with this fucking progressive nonsense. Like, you are the movement. You are the momentum you are the person. You're like Laura Loomer who got elected. That's it. Like, there's not really anything different between you and her, honestly.
And her tone does not match the base, does not
like she's saying what Laura Loomer is saying does not match the tone of the base. Like, it kind of does. That's why you do it all the time. It's just that, like, she's a little gross with it. Like, she goes above and beyond. She absolutely passed she actually ends up passing the boundaries of permissibility, which you do all the time too. You want to hit so bad with a shovel? Like, what the fuck do you mean you want to hit so bad? I want to hit myself in the head with a shovel instead of thinking about that. That's insane. You see that thing from the corner of your eye in the middle of the night, okay? You are not going, ooh, I'm horny. That's not what's happening. You're not like, ooh, wonderful. That's like, oh my God, this is my sleep paralysis demon. When did you go from politics to gossiping about who sleeps with who? Politics is about sometimes gossip surrounding who's sleeping with who. Especially because currently we're talking about Laura Loomer. A real will they, won't they situation between her and Donald Trump.
Match MAGA does not match most Republicans I know, and I am completely denouncing it. I'm over it, and I would encourage anyone else that matches her statements to stop.
But Trump himself was indeed traveling with Laura Loomer in the way to Tuesday's debate. And he's someone that she has been within his inner circle, and someone has causing clearly concerns, not just among Marjorie Taylor Greene, but also other people who are aligned with Donald Trump, worried about his alliance with someone who espouses such extreme rhetoric, racist rhetoric, pushes conspiracy theories and the like. This is what Senator Lindsey Graham just moments ago told our colleague Ted Barrett here on Capitol Hill.
Yeah. That's so funny. Someone in the chat said, what the fuck is that chatter talking about? A politician literally sleeping with someone led to the second ever presidential impeachment. It's like, no, that chatter was there being like, sweetie, I don't like that you're talking about tea between Monica Lewinsky and Bill Clinton, okay? Ugh, this is just gossip.
He said, I think what she said about Kamala Harris and the White House is abhorrent, but he said it's deeper than that. He said she says some things about Republicans too. And he went on to say about Trump, he would serve himself well to make sure that she doesn't become a bigger story. So a clear concerns among some of Trump's closest allies that he's getting too close to her and that he needs to show some distance. Guys.
Interesting.
Are we legit reporting on whether Trump has sex with Laura Loomer during his campaign tour? I mean, honestly, if you ask me in all sincerity, I don't think so. Okay? But having said that, it is very funny to endlessly speculate. Like, if I'm being fully real, like, no, I don't think Trump fucked Laura Loomer. Get out of here. But do I think it's a phenomenal story to cover? Yes.
Manu, and that Marjorie Taylor Greene is drawing a line at what acceptable rhetoric is, and it appears to be Jewish space lasers, but not this. Manu Raji live.
Damn! Okay, CNN, damn!
On the Hill, thank you so much. Joining us now is Jessalyn Cook. She's the author of The Quiet Damage, QAnon and the Destruction of the American Family. Jessalyn, Laura Loomer, as we just mentioned, seen getting off of Trump's plane. She had this tweet out, a source telling CNN.
Yeah, also you're coming into the broadcast of a dude who spent like 3.5 hours describing how the Duluth Dyson Larry Sinclair sucked off Barack Obama in a limousine after Barack Obama gave him cocaine and then pulled out his own crack to do before getting his shit sucked sideways by the Duluth Dyson Larry Sinclair. Okay? Larold.
She has the former president's number. She has used it. What is the effect of Trump spending time with and elevating someone like this?
It's a really puzzling strategy. Obviously, when Marjorie Taylor Greene is the voice of reason, that's cause for alarm. A lot of Republicans are stunned by this. And what she's doing, what Laura Loomer is doing with
giving the Barack tour. We're done here. We're done. We're
Trump's
done.
help is just normalizing and spreading these really detrimental conspiracy theories. Even the conspiracy theory we heard on the debate stage on Tuesday night from Donald Trump that
I bet you chatter brings up Kamala's presumed sexual history as a political point all the time. Yeah. Oh, 100%. They're like, she fucked her way to the top, dude. Yeah, she fucked the guy issuing the bar.
Haitian immigrants in Springfield, Ohio are abducting and eating people's pets. Reporting suggests that he is picking up this kind of rhetoric from Laura Loomer, who was posting these conspiracy theories before he took the stage.
And I'm wondering, since you brought up what he said on the debate stage about Haitian immigrants in Ohio eating pets, how do conspiracy theories like that, of that ilk, originate?
Marjorie Taylor Greene screaming from the rooftops about Laura Loomer being in Trump's orbit is giving Alex Jones telling Kanye West not to openly say he admires Adolf Hitler. Like, it has that same desperation, and it's the exact same type of situation. It's like, dude, what are you doing? You're giving the game away. You're being like far too open about your actual allegiances and associating yourself and others with like a truly toxic individual. Like, we agree with the ideas, we just can't say certain things. Why are you saying those things? It's the exact same situation. Don't say the quiet part out loud. You're giving the fucking game away.
And which ones are seemingly amplified more than others on social media and interviews and obviously on the debate stage?
It seems like the media talking about this is needlessly elevating this. Fuck no. It's a incredibly valid avenue of attack against Donald Trump. I'm just more so upset about the way that the media is covering it by like not really talking about how insane Laura Loomer is, like barely scratching the surface, okay, which has a shit ton. I mean, Laura Loomer is a target-rich environment. Like in this circumstance, you have to talk about like how fucking insane she is, and then immediately turn it into, and here's why he's saying, you know, Haitians are eating pets. Now, of course, they are kind of doing that. I like this guy. He's one of the best that CNN has, in my opinion. He kind of did do that. She's actually kind of popping off a little bit too. So I don't really have an issue with this kind of coverage overall. I do hate it whenever they talk about, what? If your 78-year-old grandpa called his new girlfriend a free spirit, you'd change all his passwords? That's a good take.
A lot of the time, it starts out with fringe figures online, increasingly more popular mainstream far-right
The jean jacket is, I think, Acne Studios.
Influencers like Laura Loomer, repeating these wild falsehoods that kind of trickle their way up through the system, coming eventually out of the potential future president of the United States' mouth. And there's real offline harm to these online conspiracy theories. Just today, we saw there's...
Yeah, God forbid you'd have a... God forbid we have a president who says like unhinged, unsubstantiated things like that he's seen dead children who are beheaded by Palestinian resistance fighters who then light them on fire with kerosene. God forbid. That would be, well, yeah, no, that would be actually really damaging to discourse, wouldn't it? Now, of course, if you're in mainstream media, you will substantiate those unsubstantiated claims because it goes along with the broader narrative that like Israel must bring about hellfire destruction on the Palestinian population in an effort to continue their genocide. That is the most moral army. That's the most moral military. That's the most moral country on the planet. You know?
There's a bomb threat in Springfield, Ohio. Reportedly, the caller was frustrated over Haitian immigration, and it led to schools closing. It led to city buildings closing. And even after that happened, Laura Loomer then went back on X and suggested that Haitian immigrants are not only eating pets, but eating people, just pushing wildly baseless, false, harmful claims.
And so, Jesselyn, I wonder if is there a way...
When left unchecked, by the way, this kind of narrative will only increase, as we have seen Donald Trump go from like Mexicans are rapist drug dealers and some are very fine people, I assume, to they're eating pets to they're eating humans too now. So that's what happens. That's what happens when you don't fucking actually, try to push back against this kind of wild, insane anti-immigrant sentiment, this Hitlerian nonsense.